Welcome to the ESP Facebook Live. The panelists will introduce themselves as their name, classification, major, and what they are involved in. You can start from the left.
Yeah. Okay. Hi guys, I'm Julie Panetta. I will be graduating in December of 2019. I am a senior studying family services with a criminology minor.
Hi everyone, I'm Saida Garcia. I'm a senior studying family services with a double minor mental health and Spanish. I'm originally from Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Paris Haywood. I'm a sophomore here, majoring in marketing. I'm from Waterloo, Iowa. On campus, I'm involved in BSU and ESP. I'm the chair of public relations for BSU and then the VP of marketing for ESP.
Hi everybody, my name is Katie Silva and I'm a sophomore marketing major from Marshalltown, Iowa. I'm involved in ESP and I was also a Pathfinder for Jumpstart.
Alrighty. So how has involvement helped your transition here?
I personally say just being involved on campus, you meet like a whole bunch of new friends and those people can become like your support system, and it's really important during college to have someone there for you because you really can't do college by yourself, so that's like a very important thing, meeting new people that have like the same interests and goals as you to help you, graduate college.
Going off of Paris, I think it's super important to meet new people that are on the same route as you, whether it's within your major and they're prioritizing the exact same academics as you, or within the same student org and they have the same goals as you. I believe it's great to surround yourself within people that have these same perspectives and ambitions that you do, and that's a great way to start through student orgs.
To go off what they both said, for me as a junior transfer coming to a new university, being involved right away from the start was really helpful for me to make friends and to find my support system here on campus, and with friends and faculty as well. And just like they said, it's very important to find those people who you can network and who you can really lean on, who share the same ambitions and perspectives as you do.
I wasn't really involved up until this year, and so I kind of had struggles like finding friends and like having a good support system here. So I really recommend getting involved right from the start. I think it's very beneficial because now I like wish I could go back and get involved in something so that I would have had the same experiences.
Perfect. So the second question is, what are resources that are available at UNI to help you succeed?
There are a bunch of resources, and a lot of them are free. I know for myself, I've used tutors through Trio to help me with my classes, and you can meet with them as much as you want or as little as you want, and you don't have to pay for them. They're free. You can just go to your advisor and set up if you need one for a certain class or anything like that.
I'd also say the Student Health Center is something that's really important, a good resource on campus. And again, like Katie said, it is free. The counseling center is in there, and I know earlier in the semester I was sick, and so I just went in there and got my shots and got my medicine and stuff. So that was really helpful.
Yeah, I guess other services that are provided would be just like the library. I know some of the students coming into college don't have a laptop right away, and so a really nice thing that we have that actually the library is doing now is that you can check out a laptop through them, and you can like check it out for like a week and you can take it home and whatnot. So that's really good for students who don't have laptops. You can also check out like chargers, headphones, anything like that. Anything else you want to add?
I think they named most of the resources here at UNI. Another one that I would say that is a good key for your academics is interaction within your professor one-to-one, which is provided to you through office hours, and honestly that has made a huge difference within my classes that I've chosen to pursue that with. The good thing about UNI is that our classrooms aren't as big as other universities, so we are given the privilege to have these one-to-one conversations with our professors, and you get all these questions answered that maybe you wouldn't want to mention in front of your other peers, and it's just a great resource that can just really help you out with everything that you need.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there jobs available on campus?
Plenty. For me personally, last year, like I mentioned, I came in as a junior transfer. Literally the first day on campus as a student, I got a job, and then the next day I was already working. And so the nice thing about that is that my office that I did work at was a small office. So I was able to actually do homework there, and I was able to use the resources that they offer there to get my like homework done. Any projects that I needed to be done, I could do there. And like I said, I was able to find supporters through different offices, even though it was an office related to my major.
I'll also mention UNI does have like a UNI job board that you can go in, and depending on like if you have work study or if you don't, or if you want to work on campus or off campus, they have jobs around any job on campus they have listed on there. Any job like around the Cedar Falls, Waterloo area, they have listed on there. And then you can also select jobs by like what you're interested in. So right now working off admissions, I like doing this type of stuff, so that's where I got my job from. But I also used to work in athletics last year. That's kind of what my interest was. So based on your interest, you can find a job for sure on the job board.
Yeah, I will say that something really nice that UNI does is that as a student, we aren't allowed to work 20 hours, more than 20 hours, which is really good because that really helps us prioritize our studies and work, so we're able to, make money as we're also getting our studies done. And then, like I said, they're all on campus, so they're walking distance. You can work in between classes. Anything else?
Okay. There's this place called the Learning Center. What is that?
Anyone want to go?
It's like you can go there to get tutors, and then you can also like make schedules for like writing, help with like writing papers, or if you need it proofread. They have walk-in tutor hours for like math and science, and it's in the ITTC, which is the
Technology.
yeah.
I've used the Learning Center a lot to get my papers revised, and usually appointments are about 30 minutes long, but if you want longer, you can schedule back to back. And they make it easy for you because you usually meet with students who are English majors or graduate assistants, and so it's nice because it's not as intimidating, and they really give you helpful feedback. They don't just like give you your paper and be like, this is what you did wrong, and they really help you to like be like, okay, so how can we fix this, or like what is a different perspective that we can take and stuff like that.
All right. So socially, where are safe places that people can go on campus?
I'd say just in general, like the campus is really safe. So like if you ever take a tour on UNI's campus, you'll see like tons of loopholes. We have like a police station located on campus, so if like any of those poles ever get pushed, they'll be there within a minute. And then also just public safety is something that's really important and a lot of people use. So at night, if you're not feeling safe, or you just like someone to escort you from like your residence hall to the library or to anywhere, basically they'll come and they'll happily do that in a car or by foot. So I think that's really good. But I'd say for the most part, I spend most of my time in the CME just because that's like my safe place. But I will say like a lot of different places on campus are safe in terms of that. So
I agree with Paris because I'm always in the CME in between my classes and even after. I feel like that's where I'm most productive with doing my schoolwork. And then like also a lot of my friends are there too, and we'll just like get to hang out and talk. And I usually never saw them last year, so I love going to CME and seeing them and catching up and then getting my work done also.
yeah, everyone in there is like super open and like respect your ideas. So
Yeah. And like they said, I'm also in the CME a lot, which the CME is a center for multicultural education, and like they said, I spend a lot of my time there because they have computer labs, so I'm able to do homework, and then when I just need a break or I need to, just hang out with friends, there's lounges where you can hang out and play card games, so that's really nice as well.
Yeah, and going back to what they all said, I believe that every place on campus is really safe. I go to the library a lot. I'm at the CME every once in a while as well, but I have to work in places where it's quieter, and the library has all these levels of places where you can study, and it goes from the most social level to the quietest at the very top. And I feel like not even the library, but like the academic buildings like Latham, ITTC, the business building, they're open as well to give study areas. And I'm not too sure how late they're open, but I have friends that are there until midnight and then they go home with their studies. So there's never been a time that I haven't felt safe at UNI.
Yeah.
Okay. What are things you do to keep organized?
Personally for me, last year a friend of mine introduced Google Calendar to me, and I never really used it until I I came to UNI, and so what's really nice about that is I put everything on my calendar, so classes, appointments that I have with advisors, or like health appointments, work, anything, student organizations, I put it all in my Google Calendar, and I have Google Calendar linked into my phone. So an hour prior to whatever event I have going on, whether it's class, work, or so on, I get that reminder, which is really nice. And that's what helps me stay on top of my schedule from like a week-to-week basis.
I would say I use Google Calendar as well. I just started this year and it's been really great. But the UNI bookstore does give out free planners, so that's always an option if you like to like write things down. They give them out for free. I use a planner as well along with my Google Calendar. So
I just use a planner because I like writing out and checking it off and like seeing. I mean, you can see your week to week on Google Calendar, but I like just like physically having something so I can like, you know, see everything.
Yeah, and I relate to Katie because I'm more of a paper person, and so I just really love having an agenda. You can check off things, and I color code and stuff like that. I don't know. It's all about the way that you can feel best organized. So up to you.
and there are resources that on campus, like if you're not really for sure, I know some peer mentors do take the time to like help people get organized and stuff so they won't like fall behind in their classes.
So earlier, Julia, you talked about professors' office hours. Can you explain a little bit more about that and what that is?
So within your syllabus, there's which they give most professors give out, or it's usually in your e-learning on the first day of class. And on that syllabus, it's like your professor's name, the building, and then there's their office hours there. And usually it's from like I don't know, like 1 to 2 or 11 to 12. And those office hours are dedicated just for students to come in with questions, anything that you need revised, or things that you weren't able to mention during class. And most professors really encourage that because usually they're just in there hanging out, trying to get some stuff done. And like I said, those hours are just dedicated and prioritized for students. So take advantage of those.
Do all professors have office hours?
I believe so, yeah. And if not, you can email them and make an appointment with them because they're all super open about that.
Yeah, one of my professors. So our class is a little bit different. We meet in class, and then we have like an online portion of the class. And so she doesn't necessarily have office hours, but she does virtual office hours. So we'll get like on it's like called Zoom. It's kind of like Skype, and we just set up an appointment. And that way, like you're still seeing her, you can still talk to her, just not in person with her.
I really recommend going to office hours. I was so scared to do it the first time, but my trio advisor actually made me go in and like kind of talk to my professors about what my goals were for their class. And I think it's very beneficial for me just because they knew who I was, and they were more likely to kind of help me out if I was struggling. And they really are a resource for you to use, and they want to help you. They want you to succeed. So I really recommend like going there, meeting them. You know, they can be your mentor, they can be your references, anything. They want you to succeed so bad. So.
Yeah, I will say as a student, definitely I push it towards like even like towards my friends and for myself, just because every semester you get new professors, and I think you have a bigger advantage of succeeding in your class if you go in and take advantage of those office hours because they know you personally, and so then you'll notice that the professors come to you more often rather than you going to them, and so it's like a mutual relationship there.
Definitely. So, you mentioned a little bit how classes, like the first day of class, is important. Why?
I would say the very first day of class is super important because that is the day where the professor talks about what's going to be going on within the semester. Lectures are super important because I understand that we have books that we are supposed to bring to class, and some people think that you can teach yourselves out of the book, but information is given that you are going to miss out on if you do not attend the first day of class.
Yeah.
I know my professors, like especially in our smaller classes, they use the first day for like introduction, so like the whole class will get to meet each other and you can like find your friends in there and like people that you can connect with and study with later on. So, and then again, they go over the full syllabus with you, so like there's no confusion. So if you have like any questions, mostly they're going to be answered that first day of class.
I've had some professors that will actually like drop you from the class if you don't go for like the first couple days, because they're thinking like, oh, they're not showing up, so they're not wanting to be in my class or stuff like that. So I really recommend, like, I've known people that have skipped like the whole first week of classes, and I just think that puts you so far behind, because some professors will start lecturing as soon as they hand out the syllabus. So like, it kind of just depends on what professors you have.
Something helpful that I find for myself is I think it's very important to even print the syllabus beforehand, because sometimes, like Katie said, professors start just like they go in the first day, and so I think printing out your own syllabus before, like a couple of days or even the day before, and like just skimming through it, that way the next day, if the professor goes through the syllabus and you come upon, like they don't mention a question that you have, then you can bring it up rather than, you know, the next time you meet or whatever.
I know, like, some of my first year classes, like, they just want you to look at the syllabus, like, for sure, so they'll give you, like, extra credit points, like, if you go home and, like, bring back one question or, like, sign it or something.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, awesome. So changing gears a little bit, what if I don't know what major I want to be in? Is that okay?
That's completely fine. Oh, we're
No,
doing
go
it.
ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I came in as an undecided student, and I didn't claim my major or minor until, I believe it was like the end of sophomore year is when I claimed it. And I'm on a good route, and I mean, I guess I'm going to be adding on an extra semester, but I feel like if you come in as an undecided student, you can take all those LACs, the gen eds and everything, and you'll be completely fine, and it gives you more time to decide on what you actually want to do, because I do know that these 4 years do go by fast.
I'll also say the university does hold major minutes, which is something you could do. It's kind of like speed dating for majors. So you go sit down with an advisor from that college, and they'll kind of tell you about like what the major is, what classes you'll be taking, the possible job opportunities you can get after you graduate with that job, and some other things. So that's really good. And then like Julie said, just taking your gen eds, like your LAC courses, you can kind of find out what you like. So. And like just doing organization, so like being involved in ESP, I found out I like admissions work, and like I want to be like an admissions counselor. So they just added a class about kind of being an admissions counselor basically, and how that can go into a major and stuff like that. So that's really important.
I think the largest percent of incoming freshmen are undecided majors, so don't feel like you're like the only person who doesn't know what they want to do, because there are a lot of people who can relate to you. And I'd say don't stress about it, because once you get into those classes, like Julie said, the LACs and stuff, you'll figure it out like really, really quick what you do like and what you don't like.
And I will say some people feel pressure to graduate within 4 years. Realistically, that's not the reality for everyone. So if you come in and you don't quite know your major, and like I know like business majors, you kind of start off like right from the bat. That's what I am. So it's okay like if you're here an extra semester or something because you changed your major. That's totally fine.
Okay. Just to let you know, viewers, you can ask questions as well. The next question is, never mind, that's not a question. What do you do for self-care?
One thing,
Go ahead.
one thing they have in the CME is kind of like this art room, and you can paint in there. So painting is very stress relieving to me, so that's something I do. And then we also have a greenhouse on campus where you just go in. They have like some fish and birds, and it's just like pretty scenery. Just to go in there, walk in there, clear your mind. So
If it's a nice day, I'll kind of like stroll the campus, because it is a beautiful campus. I love it. And you just kind of walk around when it's quiet, and you can like see like people like working on projects outside or like doing stuff like that. And I love like, I don't know, just walking around, seeing everything. I think it's very beneficial to take a little bit of time for yourself, especially if you're really, really stressed or busy, because it's better for you to like take time off rather than keep going and pushing yourself past like what you can do. So.
For me personally, so last year I lived on campus, and this year I live off campus, which I think living off campus like a senior does have its benefits. So when I kind of need to take a break from school, I usually go home, and that's nice because like I'm able to get away from campus. But then last year when I lived on campus, a lot of my friends lived in the same dorm as I, so we all got together and hung out, just talked, vent to each other. And then this year what I started to do is I started to go to counseling, which helps so much, and you can talk about anything and everything. Paris, I mentioned counseling, how it's free. Definitely take advantage of that. Katie had said that she walks around campus. I do that too, and it's really nice. I go to the botanical.
Yeah. I personally, well, I've met some really great people, including these three on campus at UNI, and I would just like to say that it's so great to come to UNI and like meet all these people, because you tend to meet people that are genuinely supportive, and on my free time, I like spending time with my friends and just finding that support and how we can all relate and just knowing that you're not alone.
I also say, like, linking it back to like your professors and stuff. If you talk to them, go into your office hours and explain to them like, hey, like I am a little stressed, they're like really nice. Like my professor right now this semester, she allows us self-care days, so we can like miss 2 class periods just if we need to take time and like disconnect from everything. So again, if you go in there and talk to them, they're pretty lenient and will kind of like let you, skip a day so you can just take time, because like your mental health is really important.
Yeah. I will say around this time, the university sometimes brings in like puppies into the library, and that's super cool because like there's actually a lot of dogs on campus, except we can't pet them because they're service dogs. And so it's nice in the library, like they come into the library, we're able to play with them for a little bit. That helps a lot too.
I know also during finals week they have like massage therapists come
Oh,
in
yeah.
to mocker, and then that's when they also have the dogs, and then they also have a thing in the WRC, which is the Wellness Recreation Center, where you can like walk this path. I forget what it's called.
Oh, the labyrinth.
Yeah, the labyrinth, and you walk this path to like some soothing music and stuff, and it like helps you like relax, and it's like proven to like improve your studies and stuff. So I recommend that too. I personally never tried it, but I've been wanting to, so maybe I'll do that this semester.
Yeah, and then the WRC also provides, they offer you to take these fit classes that you have to pay for them during the semester, but I believe there's like a day dedicated where it's like during finals week,
I think it's like a week long, but it's like either finals week or like right before finals.
Yeah.
Where it's like a week and you can try a class for free.
Yeah, it's a free trial and it's pretty great.
Okay, we have a question from our viewer. How does financial aid help you be successful?
I guess financial aid for me was a really big stressor coming into college. So going up there and like meeting with the counselors one-on-one kind of relieved some of my stress that I was putting too much attention into the financial aspect and wasn't kind of doing good academically. So going in there, they're really good about helping me like find scholarships that I will be able to apply for and that I like meet all the requirements with. Again, yeah, financial aid has been like really good. And then we also have like the UNI scholarship. They always encourage me to do that so I can get more aid that'll come in. And they just take a lot of time to like sit with you and talk to you about it, because in the beginning I was just for sure. I didn't know. People were explaining it to me, but I didn't really like understand it. So just scheduling an appointment can like really help you out, and they're good about that.
This year I had some problems with my financial aid, where it took a really long time to finally like get approved, and so I was freaking out. I was like, oh my goodness, like I won't be able to register for classes and whatnot. And so the people in admissions and like financial aid were the ones who like helped me every step of the way, and they really took the time. They reached out to me. They made sure that everything was taken care of step by step. If I didn't know how to do something, so I could explain it to my parents on how to do it on my FAFSA. They kind of walked me through it, so I was able to walk my parents through it. They're really patient and they're really, really friendly and helpful.
Yeah, I agree with what Saida and Paris said. Scheduling an appointment with them and just having them guide you step by step is one of the best ways to go about it.
And UNI does have one application that you can fill out for every single scholarship. It'll tell you all the scholarships that you can receive or eligible for, and then you can go on from there to apply for them, or some of them will just be rewarded to you just for filling out the scholarship. So I think that's really helpful too.
And I believe that's January 15th. I'm not sure if it's been changed, but okay, there we go.
Okay, another question that we got from the viewer. Best places to study?
For me, last year when I lived on campus, I lived in Lawther, and so Lawther, I would say, is kind of like in the heart of the campus, and so I was very close to the library, but I personally preferred to go to Schindler, which was next door, and I liked going to Schindler because it was really quiet and peaceful. The wall, so half of the building are warm colors and then the other half are cool colors, and I don't know, I just felt like warm and comforting, and I was able, usually I need music in to like block people out or to block any noise out, but Schindler is like super quiet. It just feels cozy and I felt good.
I would say for myself, the library is something, me and all my friends last semester used to stay going to the library, and also the CME. But one thing I will say is, when you're with your friends, sometimes you don't study the best with them. So I'd have to make myself walk away. And then like Julie said earlier, once you go up in the library, like on the fourth floor, it's completely silent. And sometimes that's how I best study. So just like knowing what ways I can study effectively and put myself in the right surroundings. And then about the CME, I will say last year they just made it so it's open 24 hours. So once the library closes, we used to head over to the CME, and of course, like I think Saida said, there is like lounges and stuff where you can study in there.
Okay. Career services. What does that have? What do they have to offer?
So career service has a variety of different things. If you've never done like a or if you've never done a real interview, they have mock interviews, so they prepare you with real questions that you would be asked at a job. They do resumes with you. They check over your resume if you already have one with you. A lot of different things is in the most of that.
To go along with like the on-campus job question, they will help you get like an on-campus job as well too. And like I had to go there to submit a resume for my job. So.
You mentioned a resume. What is that?
So a resume is a list of your experiences and involvement on campus. It really just, I don't know how to explain it.
But like Sada said, like you just doesn't have to be like actual workplaces you worked at. Like being involved in an organization can also be put on your resume. Yep.
Any leadership positions you held?
Yeah. You basically like want to include on a resume every experience that you've had that portrays towards the position that you're trying to get in whatever career that you're applying for. But if I may add, career services has templates too, and that's super handy because you just kind of go off of it and add your own information and replace it.
Okay, that's great. Can each of you give a piece of advice to an incoming freshman or anyone who's willing to or coming to the university?
I would say that for me, like I said, I was a junior transfer, so I don't know what it would have been like for me to come in as a freshman. Looking back now, I don't think I regret coming in as a transfer because the route that I took, I think, was the route that I was meant to have. But to any incoming freshman, I would say to college, I think often is like seen as something really big and scary because like you're just thrown into adulthood. But I would say to not freak out at the university, at any university. You can, as long as you find and connect yourself with the right people, like Julie had mentioned earlier, connecting yourself with people who have the same ambitions and perspectives as you, that will really help you and that will really set you in the right path that you need to be in.
I would say to never be ashamed of any question that you have, because as a freshman, I know it's super new, never been here before type of thing, besides a tour probably, and I just feel like communication is key, and that's so big because sometimes we tend to keep questions to ourselves that would have been better if we would have spoken them into existence because it would have benefited you in whatever aspect or whatever thing that you may need help on.
To go off what Julie said, I feel like as a freshman, if you have a question, 9 times out of 10 another freshman is going to have the same question as you, and maybe you guys are on the same boat. So definitely voice your questions. That way you can help yourself out, and that way you're helping a friend out as well.
I'd say for myself, just get outside your comfort zone and get involved. Doing those two things can get you like getting involved, especially to get you your support system and just making friends, which is something that's really important if you do want to succeed at college. And yeah, just getting outside your comfort zone for sure.
I kind of already said it, but I would highly recommend getting involved because, like I said earlier, I wasn't involved at all last year and I kind of had troubles. But getting involved helped me realize that I really do love it here. This is my home, and everything like happens for a reason. So.
And I feel like it motivates you to be better. Like seeing other students in student orgs that kind of have the same ambitions as you, like I said before, it's super motivating because sometimes you can see people that aren't as dedicated to their academics, but just being around those people is what I would say would be best for any freshman. But
and you never know who looks up to you too. Like you may feel like you're looking up to 10 other students, but you never know how many students are looking up to you, and they're like, wow, look at how great she's doing, or look at how great he's doing.
Alrighty, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for all the viewers. I appreciate all the panelists. If you have any questions, please email admissions@uni.edu. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye.